Odette, welcome to Halloween Daily. Thank you so much for hanging out and talking to us today.
Heck yeah, Matt. Thanks for having me.
We are super excited. You know, it is a magical time of year as we're recording this right now. It's summer's winding down, and some people might be a little depressed about that, but not us, and I don't think you either, because that means Halloween is really ramping up, and it's a very exciting time. Party City, of course, is launching all of their new 2023 products, including some amazing new animatronics that we're going to be talking about today. So I really do appreciate you sitting down with us.
That's right. Halloween is a way of life. So, August 1st, pumpkin spice and Halloween products. That's what it's all about.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. Now, before we get to your present day career as VP of all things Halloween at Party City, we like to find out a little bit about your origin story and through the holiday itself. Sure. So can you tell us a little bit about your relationship to Halloween prior to this being your full-time career? Do you have fond memories growing up, and,
Yes.
and did you and your families always look forward to it as a kid?
Absolutely. I didn't even know that this type of position existed. So, I kind of fell into it, got lucky there. But as a kid, loved Halloween. I was the, one who wanted to make my own costume based on the coolest characters. Thundercats was like my all-time favorite cartoon. So always wanted to be a Thundercat. But just loved the magic of it. You can be whoever you want for a night. You can be scary. You can, embody that character that you love so much. So super fond memories.
Absolutely. And do you have a favorite Halloween costume that you've worn over the years? We always like to ask that pivotal question.
Yeah, whenever I think favorite costume, it's the Thundercats.
And it doesn't have to be from childhood, by the way.
Yeah.
It can be from any time.
But I will say last year I went as Chucky, so I got to I did like all of the special effects, make like the scars and stuff. And at the time I had red hair, so it felt really fitting. But there's something about being super scary that is just pure fun. So that would have to be kind of an all-time favorite as an adult.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. We love Chucky. And then we always have to ask too, the other, pivotal question of Halloween. What is your favorite Halloween candy of choice?
Candy corn, 100%. I will eat it year round. Like I am the person that stocks up on it and just like eats it. Yeah, I love it.
Love it. Mm-hmm. Awesome. I love it. So moving into a little bit more present day, can you tell us a little bit about how you started with Party City, I guess, and then how that led to your present day position as Vice President of Halloween?
Yeah, for sure. So I previously was at 7-Eleven for about 13 years. That's where I grew up throughout my career. I was on the private brands, product development. I loved the creative side of merchandising. At the time, my senior vice president had moved over to Party City. He's now the president of Party City. And he had worked there for about a year, and he gave me a call and he's like, hey, I think you would really, really like it here. It really suits you. And, I want you to be a part of what we're trying to build. And I came out for a visit and I fell in love. It's a celebrations company. And so it's really hard to be upset when you're just talking about celebrations all day. And so I didn't pick the area I was put in, but they thought I would be a really great fit for Halloween. And so I started there first as a director of our thematic costumes. So everything that's not licensed, basically. And worked my way up, and now I'm the vice president. So that was really cool, of not only Halloween but all of seasonal. So get to celebrate all the seasons, but Halloween's my favorite.
Awesome. Well, we love to hear that. Of course, we're a little bit biased on the holidays.
I'm so biased,
just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
So when did you start with them? About how long did that climb take through the ranks?
March of 2020 is when I joined, so great timing.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
But we had bought a house here and sold ours in Texas, so it's like, hey, we're going. So we took a nice RV trip with the fam up to New Jersey and started during COVID. So it was a time of just trying to figure it out and getting scrappy, and how can we really reinvent ourselves because we just weren't as relevant. You know, we weren't very cool, we weren't on the trends, and we had a lot of opportunity to turn that around, be more trend focused, pop culture, get into like, you know, that horror cult classics. And so, you know, that was our mission. And 3 years later, we're hitting the mark. So really proud of where we came from and where we are now.
Well, it's definitely been a noticeable, you know, incline, as you say.
Cool.
And Party City, Party City has always, as you said, sold for all holidays, and there's always been lots of great Halloween merch there. But as you say, you know, coming in with 2020 and recent years especially, we've seen a lot of growth. And I wanted to ask you about that just in general in the industry, first of all, because you've been in it at Party City since 2020 and just a Halloween enthusiast yourself. I mean, we've seen a lot of growth, especially in the last 5 to 7 years, the last decade, especially of the animatronics more than anything.
Yes.
I mean, they've always been a big part, but you know, and for me, I think it's partly technology keeps advancing and making them more affordable, and these really great ones that you couldn't get before, and then also the growth and literally in the size most recently. So can you talk a little bit about those trends and seeing that and kind of finding your way into that, because now with this year especially, Party City is really a big part of all that as well.
Last year, I want to say we put ourselves like on the map, and it really stemmed from an initiative to at ourselves, like, and where we are in relation to the market. So like you said, Halloween at this year, it's projected to be $10.7 billion, which is mind blowing. And you're seeing, like, when I started looking at the market, like $2 billion increases year over year. And so when I looked at what was driving that, it's decor. And so when you zoom out for the market, it's 50% decor, 50% costumes and accessories. And you have like those big players, Lowe's and Home Depot, who they only sell decor. They're not in the costume business. So they're really driving that total number. So when we looked at ourselves, we're like, whoa, there's much bigger space here for us to play in. Like, we should really be going after this. So we just laid, you know, some foundational principles, like, what do we want to stand for? We want cool, uniqueness, innovation, and then most of all, quality. Like, the quality has to be there. We're not just going to sell anything. And we want it exclusive. We have to be unique and differentiated. So with those kind of marching orders, if you will, we went to work with our partners, level set kind of what we want to stand for and where we want to be in the market. And they've been really great at helping us achieve that. So getting the right team together. Right. We have Sean on our team. He is a horror buff, a horror enthusiast, and he's really driving those like deep cuts, like things that people would not, you know otherwise. So that's really helping too, right? Like the team just coming up with these really cool ideas and bringing them to life. It's been so fun. Like, we go to Trans World every year. It's a huge source of inspiration, and those animatronics, you know, thousands of dollars. So it's like, how can we bring a really cool concept to the masses? Not for $6,000, you know? Yeah. So that's what we've been working on.
Well, it sounds like you've really had your hand and your thoughts on all of this since coming on board. For those of us just that are curious, with a job that sounds amazing, Vice President of Halloween, so you know, cool. Can you walk us through a little bit of like your day-to-day work life a little bit, just because I'm fascinated, and I'm sure our viewers would be fascinated as well.
You know, I have to say, I have the best team, like the best team, hands down. Jen Luft runs Halloween now that I've taken a step up for all of seasonal. So she's really the mastermind behind everything. But a day in the life of a VP of Halloween, senior director, you know, the team is a lot of creation. So that's probably the coolest part of the job, right? The team stays on the pulse of all the trends, and we develop so far in advance. So we are locking down 24 now, and it's kicking off 25. So like, if you can get your head wrapped around that type of cadence, it's a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of collaboration. What do we want to bring to life? And then just marching towards those, you know, those timetables that we have to get that product out.
And the clock is always ticking, of course, until next year. So I guess it shouldn't come as a surprise to us anyway that you're already, like you said, locking down next year before this year has even really begun.
Right. Right. Yeah. And it's
guess,
that delicate balance, right? Because we have a pretty good plan, themes, trends that we've seen, but also in season, it kicks off, right? Like products that we never thought would sell are selling. So we do leave some room to pivot. And then most importantly, a big shift in our strategy has been to chase. So like, bulk of orders go out, but we give ourselves a few months to keep buying, to stay for any late breaking trends.
awesome. I love that. And now with the license stuff, because Party
Yeah.
City, you guys do a lot, like as you say, developing your own creatures and characters, and we see a lot more of that in recent years. Like you're talking about, we've noticed the increase in that at Party City. But when it comes to the licensed characters,
Yep.
you had the Michael Myers animatronic and Creep Show, and this year you've got Leatherface and the Evil Dead 2. Can you talk to us a little bit about the process of deciding and picking, or coming up with what licenses we can deal with this year, and which ones maybe we'd like to, but we can't get a hold of? I mean, what's that process like for you guys?
Sure. Yeah, it's collaboration, right? So the team comes to the table with a lot of our own great ideas, but we partner with our internal product development team and our licensing team, who kind of helps us structure our licensing deals so that we can get Evil Dead 2 or Creep Show or those licenses that you're talking about. And then we bring it to the vendor to see what we can bring to life. Licenses are really hard to execute. We had a lot of big plans for just Harry Potter things we wanted to do, but they didn't want to budge. Like, they have very specific viewpoints for their characters. So there's not as much leeway as we would like. But the items that we are able to bring to life, they're true to form, like especially Leatherface. I'm so glad you brought him up. Because when you see this thing in person, it's so impressive. I mean, the latex mask over your face, you can fold it back and you see like the skin tone underneath.
That's really cool.
It is like the lips look like lips. I mean, that's what the collectors want, right? That detail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And yeah, you mentioned Leatherface, and let's talk some specifics about this year's lineup. I mean, 2023. Sure. Animatronics, as we say, they're bigger than ever everywhere, as you mentioned, at all the retailers, both literally and figuratively speaking. Yep. They're bigger than ever, and you guys are right in the middle of it this year. And then there's multiple Leatherface animatronics out, and a lot of people are super excited for your version. Can you talk to us a little bit? Let's start with that one. Can you talk to us a little bit about what sets that off? Because our viewers are well aware, there's other Leatherfaces on the market this year. Can you tell us a little bit more about your version and what sets that one apart from the others?
Yeah, we try to strike the balance of like cost, like that retail that we're going to have to sell it for, and then what it can actually do. And so we try to be really thoughtful about the features, not only from a technology standpoint, but the voice chip to the actual material that the clothing's made out of, or are we going to use actual latex on the face versus plastic? So that all goes into how we're planning the animatronics. Leatherface, the biggest difference is like he makes a super cool lunging motion of just like up with the chainsaw, which is very unexpected because it doesn't start out that way. So that's a detail that's different. And like we chose not to have the chainsaw going around. One, that's a feature that tends to break often. So from a longevity standpoint, we want to give the people who are spending their hard-earned cash a product that won't break or have the opportunity to break. So we thought that was, a reasonable choice. And we really focused on the sound chips, making sure that the breathing, the shaking, like that all came to life. And then, like I said, the latex mask overlay, the bracelet that has like actual bells inside of it that you can hear it jingling. And then making sure that the apron was like a true Pantone color match. I mean, you should have seen us in the office, like all the Leatherface pictures up, like, does this match? Does it not? So we really take that type of thing seriously because we want to bring the best product to the market and we want people to feel really good about purchasing something from us.
Well, and I know that collectors and enthusiasts definitely appreciate that attention to detail because it is all about those details when you get down to it.
Right.
And another licensed animatronic that you have coming out this year, or I guess it's out now, is that Evil Dead 2 animatronic, which I was really kind of pleasantly surprised to see during your live feed a few weeks ago. We watched that, and
Awesome.
can you tell us a little bit more about that one?
Oh gosh, I
That's a
love
deep
this
cut,
guy.
kind of a deep cut. I mean, it's kind of not what you'd expect when you immediately say Evil Dead, but I love it. Can you tell our viewers about that one?
For sure. So that was born out of Transworld. Like we're going to Transworld. Sure, you were there this year, and we saw all of this taxidermy, bones, and we're like, how do we bring something like this to life? So we started brainstorming, and I think it was Sean who I talked about. He's our horror buff, and he's like, what about like something that we can mount, right? And then working with Techie, who was like so all about it. I mean, Mike's eyes like lit up. He's like, oh, this is going to be the sickest thing. And so sometimes we'll gauge like their excitement with our ideas, and we're like, oh, we have to do this. So that's where it originated from. But we wanted something that like a collector could keep in their house year round. Like, oh, yeah. I'm guilty. Like, look at your background. You know what I mean? Like, I'm guilty too. You can hang it up and it's really cool. So yes, it's for Halloween, but it's also, for those folks who, it's always Halloween.
Yeah. Like us, it's always Halloween. And for horror fans, like you say, I mean, these are collector's items for horror fanatics as much as they are Halloween decorations when it comes to those licensed things.
Right.
Now let's talk about some more of some of your original creations that are going to start invading people's lawns and houses and haunts this season.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about some of those? I know you got some new 12-footers that you're debuting this year.
They're really cool. Wendigo, I mean, looks like a real Wendigo, right? That was like a non-negotiable. Like if we're going to do one, that's the name. And we have to live up to the mythical creature, the lore, right? So really excited. I mean, what's cool about his head, and I don't know if you could tell in the live, but it moves up and down and then side to side. So you get this like rotation that you don't see in a lot of the 12-footers. The bones are really cool, like the fur detailing, the hands with the gnarled branches. It's just a really cool prop. And then our other 12-footer, which is that the pumpkin creep. Yeah, my fave has this really cool like collarbone branches sticking out, and just the way he looks over and hovers over at you, it's so creepy. So love him. Jarvis, the ice cream clown, another favorite, right? Just the mouth movement on that one, and like when you poke its face, it's like kind of squishy to the point where like, is this thing alive? Like, is this a prop? What is this thing? So really excited about those. The other big one I'll talk about, Mega Wolf, Warg, the Mega Wolf. He shifts down really, really fast, and he's just giant. So that's another unexpected thing. Sometimes when they get so big, they can't really operate or function. But we wanted it big and able to function with movement. So
yeah, I like that, and I like the jump scare ones, and I do like what you're talking about, seeing more of the realistic facial movements, the quicker movements that we're seeing more of now, and also the the latex and having kind of the moving face as opposed to it all being plastic, which we've seen a lot of, but I love that innovation in the face. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because you guys are using much quicker motors this year, it looks like.
Yeah, we have to give, I mean, the credit to our animatronics partners. We bring a lot of asks and wishing and dreaming to the table, and they just, I mean, they execute every time. So it's so great. There's so many iterations. There's so much collaboration there with them. And they've really taken that partnership to a new level with us. So we try to explain everything that we want to come to life. They explain how they can do it, and then we work through price points, right? Because we can have everything if we want it, if someone wants to pay for it. But the key is really getting the important features into that animatronic. So for Jarvis the clown, it was really important that his face looked just really creepy and like slightly real, and had a quicker movement. Like you brought up the jump scares, the drop down scarecrow and that lunging black angel of death. I know what it's going to do, and it scares me every single time. I mean, this thing is fast the way it comes down. I don't know if it came across like that in the live, but it's fast.
Awesome. And we love seeing those too, because again, that's furthering that innovation. And I like hearing that you guys are constantly looking at not just what can we do new that we haven't done, but what can we do new and better and improve on what we did last year or the year before. Yep. And I think that that's going to please a lot of enthusiasts hearing that.
That's cool. Yeah. We try. We don't always get it right, but like our hearts are in the right place. We're killing ourselves to try to bring something really, really cool to the market.
Well, I think you're doing a great job. I think it definitely shows. And in the last few years, especially, like you said, we've seen a lot of growth in that area. Now, with this year, it's a huge year. Is there anything you can do to look into your crystal ball and tease what might be on the horizon or what might be trending in the way of Party City animatronics next year or in the future?
We have a really cool licensed animatronic. I may or may not see it in your background. That's all I'll tease. That we're excited about. Awesome. But from a future standpoint, I don't think the oversized trend is over. We have Rattles, our 5-foot groundbreaker, not an animatronic, but huge, simple, but classic and cool, right? Like I was like, how has no one else done this before? So it's just one of those statement pieces. So I think you'll see more of that. Mm-hmm. He's selling out as he gets to stores. There's a wait list of 30 people. There's finder fees. Wow. Yeah, people are offering finder's fees for this thing. So
definitely a hot ticket item this year.
Item. So I think oversized is here to stay for a little bit. Yeah. So we'll be looking at how to, continuously improve and innovate around that oversized prop. And I think fright is here to stay. Millennials are parents now. And they're okay with their kids being scary. So we are seeing kids' costumes in fright and horror grow year over year. I mean, we bought a Texas Chainsaw Massacre kids costume this year.
Yeah.
Which 3 years ago, that was not a thing. So I think that's another trend, in my crystal ball, I think is going to continue to get bigger. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to see it start getting back to the classics, how like Witch is still one of the most popular costumes, Pirate, Devil, Angel, so how can we make that feel modern and fresh and really cool? That's the challenge.
Wow. Well, it seems very exciting to hear that Party City is in the game now more than ever. It seems like, like I said, it was always there, but definitely more than ever. And we see the work that you're doing and your team is putting in. From our end, we can see it, and hearing it from your perspective now, it fills in a lot of the blanks, and we can see, okay, that's where some of this is coming from. And I love hearing this, and I really appreciate you giving this new perspective to all of this. And I think our viewers are going to be fascinated.
Awesome. I appreciate you having me. I love talking about Halloween, and we're so proud of what we've done. So thanks for giving me the space to do it.
And we have to mention too, we're talking Party City, but also Halloween City as well. Let's not forget to mention that Party City is also Halloween City.
Yeah. So what's cool there is we tested last year an approach to basically a store-in-store concept. So we have our HC by PC is what we're calling it. So we've dropped Halloween City stores, the graphics package, the expanded assortment, the gorier, edgier, sexier, still family-friendly costumes available. But we've dropped that experience inside of our Party City stores. So last year, we just tested it. What happens if we put the store in, regular Party City customers walk in, and now they're met with an entirely different experience that they didn't expect. Yeah. What do they do? What do they buy? Do they buy more? And it worked. They did buy more. They spent more time in our stores, and they shifted their product mix to that scarier, fright, more decor heavy. We're still a family-friendly store. We just have an edgier twist to us now. Yeah. So that concept is working really, really well. And then, like you mentioned, our Halloween City standalone stores are still going forward. So we have 3 formats for you to, get your Halloween on, and for y'all to enjoy.
Awesome, awesome. Very excited and very excited. We love walking into those stores, and it is an experience. It's a little bit
Yeah.
like going to through a kind of a theme park or a museum for a lot of us. You go in,
Yep.
and even though we've seen them online, it's fun to see these things in person for the first time and press the button and see them moving. And makes me, an old guy like me, feel like a little kid, like I'm 6 years old
Yeah.
again, and pressing it and running away and stuff. So yeah, and that is cool that 3 different formats, like you said, to experience all of this.
Yeah, we agree with you. The experience is part of it, right? And that's where we start when we think about Halloween, when we kicked off our creative for 2024. What do we want that to feel like? What do we want customers to feel when they walk in? Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know these items are hitting stores as
Yes.
we speak, and I know you've got a big in-person event this week for the
We
media.
do.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be there, but I know it's going to be an awesome event, and we'll look forward to everybody else's coverage. But I cannot thank you enough for hanging out with us this afternoon and giving us this really awesome preview and just getting to know more about you and where you're coming from. I really I love hearing your honest passion behind all of this, and for your team too. It sounds like you've got
Yeah.
a really well assembled team there at Party City.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I wish I could meet you in person at the event, but it'll be awesome next time. Yeah,
Absolutely.
the team is Halloween obsessed, I can tell you that. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we will definitely connect in person soon enough, and we'll do this again too. Has been a pleasure, and I always hate to say goodbye, so instead, and it's actually Halloween season now anyway, so we can say it anyway. We say it in January whenever instead of saying goodbye, but now we can say it anyway because it's Halloween season. But we're just going to say Happy Halloween.
Thank you, Matt. Happy Halloween.